WNBA referees has been having issues. WNBA referees simply playing against Caitlin Clark and the Fever.
Obviously being fouled. The refs don't call it.
Look at
this. That's not a foul on the Storm.
It is a mad situation just all around when it comes to Caitlin Clark.
The WNBA is in chaos again. And at the center of it all, Caitlin Clark. Another game. Another brutal hit.
I don't know, man.
Obviously being fouled. The refs don't call it. Storm, and then wonder why Caitlin Clark started off that. Look at that's a foul on the Fever. How?
And once again, no whistle, no foul, no accountability. Fans are furious, players are divided, and the referees silent.
We see Caitlin Clark on the receiving end of something, and it's not called correctly. In fact, she gets a technical foul. It's basically open season on Caitlin Clark.
What happened on that court wasn't just physical. It was targeted. It was personal. And the fact that the officials turned their backs yet again, it's raising serious questions about the integrity of this league.
WNBA referees has been having issues with getting these calls right when it comes to Caitlin Clark and the Fever.
How many more hits will Caitlin Clark have to take before the WNBA finally steps in? Is this just bad officiating or something deeper?
New footage.
Today, we break it all down. The footage, the reactions, and the backlash exploding across the basketball world.
This is another year and another case of WNBA referees not making the right calls when it comes to Caitlin Clark.
This isn't just about missed calls. It's about a pattern, and fans have had enough.
And then when the refs don't call the bear hug.
One of the worst missed calls I think I've ever seen in basketball.
In yet another shocking moment this WNBA season, Caitlin Clark was on the receiving end of a hard, deliberate hit, and unbelievably, the officials once again swallowed their whistles.
For whatever reason, these referees made it their business to simply not make the calls.
It happened right in front of the ref, clear as day. No screen blocking the view, no accidental collision. This was full contact, high speed, and clearly intentional. And the result? Nothing. No foul, no review, not even a warning.
The referee's literally right there. Like, bro, you're right there.
A foul on Sophie Cunningham for doing absolutely nothing. Dantas, just her hands in the air. Another foul. Touch foul, touch foul, touch foul.
Let's be honest. This isn't the first time we've seen this happen. In fact, it's becoming a disturbing pattern.
The WNBA is physical, and she just needs to get over it.
Caitlin Clark has suffered yet another hard foul, and the referees failed to make a call.
Every few games, there's a new viral clip of Clark getting shoved, hit, or knocked to the floor with no call. And every time it sparks outrage from analysts, fans, even former players, who can't understand how the league is letting this continue.
They call a foul on Sophie Cunningham for doing absolutely nothing. Dantas, just her hands in the air. Another foul. Touch foul, touch foul, touch foul. Look at this foul. Nobody did anything. But if Caitlin Clark gets hit,
look at that.
Like, if you're going to call it on one side of the court, you got to be consistent and call it for both teams the same way. Many times when the Seattle Storm drive it and do the same layup, why would you not call it for the Fever?
This most recent incident took it to another level. Clark was driving hard to the basket, her defender trailing just a step behind.
Caitlin Clark has suffered yet another hard foul, and the referees failed to make a call.
And then, bang, she gets slammed to the ground. No attempt to play the ball, just a clear body check. And somehow the play goes on.
Kathy has said nothing. She just refused to address this referee problem.
No doubt, the Indiana Fever are dominating the WNBA ratings.
Even the broadcasters were stunned. One of them paused mid-sentence, almost in disbelief, saying, "That's got to be a foul. I don't care who you are. You can't let that go."
I don't care about the score. I'm watching because it's the FOMO that everyone is rushed to watch.
But they did let it go. And that silence from the refs, it spoke volumes. Because when a player like Clark, the biggest rookie star in the league, bringing in millions of viewers, keeps getting hit without protection, people start to wonder, is this just poor officiating?
we see Caitlin Clark on the receiving end of something, and it's not called correctly. In fact, she gets a technical foul. It's basically open season on Caitlin Clark.
Or is there something more intentional going on? The optics are terrible. You have one of the most high-profile athletes in women's sports being physically targeted on national television, and the referees act like they didn't see it.
Caitlin Clark was nowhere to be found, but if it wasn't for Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell, this could have been the third straight loss for the team. Now, I'm telling you right now, there's something definitely going on with Caitlin Clark.
Meanwhile, if Clark so much as bumps into someone, she's getting called for it. The double standard is glaring. Former WNBA MVPs and analysts have even spoken out.
Caitlin Clark is playing some of the worst basketball of her career right now, and it is just not a good look for Caitlin Clark.
Some are calling it dangerous officiating. Others say the league is risking Clark's safety just to teach her a lesson. But what kind of message does that send to young fans or future players?
Correlation said it's crazy that Caitlin Clark went 140 straight games with the Omega 3 dating back to her sophomore year in college. But now this is the third game this season without Omega 3. And I'm sticking to this. Caitlin Clark's sick.
That it's okay to hit someone if they're too popular? Or that the rules don't apply if the target is someone people love to hate? This latest incident is just another chapter in what's becoming one of the ugliest stories of the season. Not because of what the players are doing, but because of what the referees aren't doing.
Caitlin Clark is definitely still in a shooting slump. She attempted 6 three-pointers, made none of them. She went 3 for 13 all night.
The moment the clip hit social media, it exploded. Not just in basketball circles, but far beyond. Within minutes, hashtags like #Protect Caitlin Clark and #WNBA refs started trending on Twitter and TikTok.
This is the first time in her career Caitlin Clark recorded more turnovers than points, bro. She had more turnovers than points for the first time in her whole basketball career.
Thousands of fans were reposting the video, slowed down and zoomed in, showing the exact moment Clark was shoved without any kind of call. It wasn't subtle. It wasn't questionable. It was clear as day. And that's exactly why fans are so angry.
Her impact on the court was still extremely high.
Because this wasn't just one bad call. This was part of a pattern that's becoming impossible to ignore. Across message boards, comment sections, and even in national sports media, people are asking the same question.
She did also have 9 assists, 3 steals, and 2 rebounds.
What exactly is going on with WNBA officiating this year? It's not just Indiana Fever fans who are upset anymore. Supporters from across the league, even fans of rival teams, are starting to admit that something feels off. Some call it ref negligence. Others go a step further, calling it targeted punishment.
If it wasn't for Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell, this could have been the third straight loss. She had 31 points, 8 rebounds, shooting 72% from the field.
Against Clark for being too popular, too confident, or simply not fitting into the traditional WNBA mold. And this outrage isn't just limited to fans. High-profile figures have started weighing in.
Indiana Fever fans, they feel what's going on. They are so invested in this team. And I don't think a lot of people thought that the Fever could pull it off.
Analysts on ESPN have openly criticized the lack of protection, saying Clark is getting a different whistle compared to other rookies. Even retired legends, some of whom once doubted her impact, are now defending her. And the numbers back it all up.
Aaliyah Boston put on a masterclass, hitting a career-high 31 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and she shot 72%.
Despite being one of the most fouled players in the league by contact, Clark ranks shockingly low.
She's the GOAT. She's going to show why the world is wanting to watch her play.
When it comes to actual foul calls in her favor. That's not just unfortunate, that's statistical proof of biased or inconsistent officiating.
Then Kelsey Pistol Mitchell was cooking. Kelsey Pistol Mitchell was cooking with fish grease. 8 of 14, 26 points. She shot 5 of 7 from 3, 5 of 5 from the free throw line.
Kelsey Mitchell does. She brings it up the court, stops on a dime, shoots his 3-point jump shot.
What makes this worse is how the league continues to say nothing. No statement, no referee accountability, No transparency. Fans feel like they're being gaslit.
Why is that? New year, Caitlin Clark still getting assaulted though, bruh. Why is we back here?
They watch Clark get thrown to the floor in real time and then are told by officials that it didn't happen, or worse, that it didn't matter. The trust between the audience and the league is cracking.
Lexi Hull recorded her first double-double of her entire career.
And the longer the WNBA stays silent, the louder the fans become. They're not just demanding better refereeing. They're demanding fairness, protection, and most of all, respect.
WNBA referees simply playing against Caitlin Clark and the Fever. And we have another situation where WNBA referees fail to make the right calls against Caitlin Clark and the Fever.
And if the WNBA doesn't respond soon, it risks alienating the very audience Caitlin Clark has brought to the league.
She was pulling gravity, getting a lot of her teammates open, getting them assists.
At this point, it's hard to keep blaming these missed calls on simple mistakes. The number of times Caitlin Clark has been hit, shoved, or blatantly fouled with no whistle.
Caitlin Clark is the needle. Caitlin is boxed off.
Caitlin Clark is the star. Everything else is wrapped around her, and everything else is revolving around her.
She's Rookie of the Year in the WNBA.
Caitlin Clark is the star player of the WNBA.
The most popular woman ever in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark.
It's beyond what you'd expect from just human error. And that's exactly why many are starting to ask the tougher question. Is this just poor officiating? Or is there something deeper, something corrupt going on behind the scenes?
Something is wrong with Caitlin, man. I believe there's something wrong with her health. There's something going on with her. I don't know what it is. Hopefully it comes out.
Let's look at the facts. Caitlin Clark isn't just a rookie. She's the face of the league's current growth. Ratings have skyrocketed since her debut. Attendance has doubled or even tripled in some arenas.
Caitlin and them still doing big viewership numbers, still doing big-time votes when it comes to all-star games, still making their presence felt.
Merchandise sales are through the roof. She's not just a player. She's an economic engine for the WNBA. So why is she being treated like a nobody on the court? This isn't just about letting the game be physical.
Now, this ain't because they played the Las Vegas Aces. No, this because Caitlin Clark was expected to ball out.
This is about a clear, repeated decision to allow unnecessary and dangerous contact, and only when Caitlin is the target. That kind of selective enforcement of rules doesn't happen by accident. That's a pattern, and patterns usually have motives. Some insiders have suggested that the league may be trying to humble Clark.
But there's definitely something going on with her, bro. And if you don't believe something is going on with Caitlin, you're crazy, because we've never seen her play this bad. None her whole damn career.
That some referees and even veteran players aren't comfortable with how fast she's risen or how much media attention she gets. One former player recently said in an interview, "There are some people in this league who don't like that she's being crowned before she's earned it."
It's the third most watched WNBA regular season game ever on ESPN.
But here's the thing. She is earning it night after night through double teams, hard fouls.
The Indiana Fever just won a major game. Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell were literally spectacular.
And now even deliberate body checks that somehow go uncalled. And still she shows up. Still she plays. Still she delivers.
Caitlin Clark is playing some of the worst basketball of her career right now, and it is just not a good look for Caitlin Clark.
If this were happening in the NBA, if someone like Steph Curry or LeBron James was getting hammered every game with no whistle, it would be a national scandal. Sports media would explode.
2.2 million views, man, peaked at, average 1.7 million viewership. Ain't no team in the W still doing this, bro. Nobody's doing the numbers the Fever is doing.
The league office would issue fines. Refs would be suspended. But in the WNBA, silence. And that silence speaks louder than any foul.
Kathy has said nothing. She just refused to address this referee problem.
Some even believe the refs are sending a message. You're not bigger than the game. But the irony is, Caitlin Clark isn't trying to be. She just wants a fair shot. The same whistle every other player.
How easily it looks like she's shooting those threes and hitting those threes in the clip that she's doing it, going to the rack, all these various things. that show she's even stronger than she was a year ago. And you see it in the strong numbers. I mean, 13 points, 6 boards, 7 assists in 23 minutes of action.
Gets the same protection every athlete deserves. And if the referees are letting personal bias or league pressure influence their calls, then we're no longer talking about missed fouls.
Caitlin Clark effect seems to be crazier than year one.
I love watching her score and just everything about her.
They went the extra mile just to watch her play here.
This is great news for women's basketball, period.
Caitlin Clark is the GOAT.
She signed my jersey. So happy, I'm crying. I'm so happy. This is the best day ever.
We're talking about corruption. Because when refs stop enforcing the rules fairly, they stop protecting players, and they start damaging the entire credibility of the league. And in the case of Caitlin Clark, it's not just her reputation on the line. It's her health, her safety, and her future.
8 of them being Caitlin Clark's, which normally, isn't a big deal, but she did have more turnovers than points.
What we're witnessing isn't just tough defense, it's targeted aggression. And when the refs refuse to blow the whistle, again and again,
Caitlin Clark needs to get home. We got to get her back to Indiana. Connor, you got to figure something out. I don't know what you're doing at home, bro. You got to figure something out, bro. Mama Bluter, where are you? Mr. Clark, Pops, where are we? We got to get our girl together. We got to get her together. I believe Caitlin Clark will bounce back from this.
They're not just ignoring fouls. They're giving permission. Permission for other players to take it further, to hit harder, to cross the line.
That's nice.
And she was shooting the shit out of it.
Of course she was.
Right. So she was shooting the shit out of it. And
she's the face of the league.
Agreed.
She's the face of the league. Agreed.
Just have nothing but great things to say about who she is as a person. She's so welcoming and so warm as an individual that she can have a conversation with anybody. She's cut from the same cloth as me in that regard. You know what? Us Midwesterners, we tend to just, accept everybody with open arms. She was so kind to my family and everyone in the suite when she came to KC. So huge fans of Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark is the needle mover.
She is the needle mover.
She is the franchise player.
And she was the MVP. She is the main draw.
She wasn't the one who was full sprinting down the court.
Caitlin Clark is a rising star in women's basketball. She's pulling in crazy viewership numbers.
She's my role model. I really look up to her.
Why do you like Caitlin?
And she's so good at basketball. Because she's that awesome person and she has like a lot of aura, so like.
Caitlin Clark deserves better. The fans deserve better, and the game itself deserves better. This isn't just a one-off moment. This is a crisis of credibility for the WNBA.
Caitlin Clark is the GOAT.
She signed my jersey. So happy, I'm crying. I'm so happy. This is the best day ever.
Caitlin Clark effect seems to be crazier than year one.
I love watching her score and just everything about her.
They went the extra mile just to watch her play here.
This is great news for women's basketball, period.
That's nice.
And she was shooting the shit out of it.
Of course she was.
Right. So she was shooting the shit out of it. And
she's the face of the league.
Agreed.
She's the face of the league. Agreed.
Just have nothing but great things to say about who she is as a person. She's so welcoming and so warm as an individual that she can have a conversation with anybody. She's cut from the same cloth as me in that regard. You know what? Us Midwesterners, we tend to just, accept everybody with open arms. She was so kind to my family and everyone in the suite when she came to KC. So huge fans of Caitlin Clark.
It is a mad situation just all around when it comes to Caitlin Clark, because it's very clear that she is way stronger.
If the league wants to grow, if it wants to keep the fans who showed up because of Caitlin, then it has to protect its stars, not punish them for shining. But now we want to hear from you.
It is a mad situation just all around when it comes to Caitlin Clark, because it's very clear that she is way stronger.
Caitlin has always been an underrated athlete. She's the fastest player in the league to me with the ball in her hands, and she was the best guard finishing around the rim last year. She shot a bunch of it, and it's been the whole preseason where it looks to me like on her deepest shots, she is just getting them off like they're nothing, like they're routine, because nobody else is shooting from this distance regularly, and she's doing it with a flick of the wrist.
Was this just bad officiating, or do you think something deeper is going on? Is the league protecting its integrity or protecting a bias?
The WNBA is physical, and she just needs to get over it.
Caitlin Clark has suffered yet another hard foul, and the referees failed to make a call.
Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more real talk on the WNBA, and turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. We've got much more coming, and this story is far from over. Thanks for watching.